You ever play a game that just lives rent free in your head? A game so good that it stays stuck in your subconscious so that you never forget about it? Even when you're 35 and nobody gives a shit about this game from 2002, it's still stuck in your head. Or even better, something so horrifically bad that it changes the very fiber of your being. I'm Alex, and these are the games that made us. Now, if you're coming here after my previous video, I'm not going to do that shit again this month. But on to our main event, which is Onimusha. Fuck yeah, here we go. When I first played this game, I wasn't aware that I liked alternate history stories. And that's ultimately what this is. Japanese history with demons. The idea for Onimusha dates roughly back to the late 90s with a man named Yoshiki Okamoto. His idea was to create a Resident Evil style game set in the Sengoku era. This idea was already half finished before they decided to move it to the PlayStation 2. I would love to see what PlayStation 1 version of Onimusha looks like, but I just imagine it's just going to be another Resident Evil game at that point. Not to say that this one isn't just a Resident Evil game, because it is. Now, if the name Okamoto sounds familiar, that's because he worked on quite a few beloved games like Resident Evil 2, Darkstalkers, Marvel vs. Capcom, Dino Crisis. Niche game, people love it. It's just Resident Evil with dinosaurs. It sounds cool. I never played it though. Basically, the game uses a lot of figures that shape Japan's history and retells their stories with a heavy application of demons, magic, and eventually time travel. But that's not in this game. Oh, I should say from here on out, I'm calling the demons by their proper name in the series, Genma. It's only the first game. It's just Onimusha Warlords that calls them demons. Every other game calls them Genma. In fact, in the Japanese voiceover, you still hear them say Genma. Now, this game follows the tale of Nobunaga Oda, a real-life feudal lord who conquered quite a lot of Japan. It sounds like something you would know, and you probably do if you're already here at this channel. However, well, okay, maybe not that part. That part didn't happen. Don't worry, he gets better. We then get some scenes of a woman sending our main character, Samanosuke, a letter. Now, why is this lady sending Samanosuke a letter specifically? It took me some digging to find this out because I don't think they ever really mention it specifically. Samanosuke is, like Nobunaga, not really an inserted fictional character, although you do see that pretty often in these kind of stories, just, new characters. He's actually based on Akechi Hidemitsu, the nephew of Akechi Mitsuhide. Mitsuhide worked for Nobunaga as one of his generals, and famously rebelled against him and set like a whole temple on fire, killing him. It's a big thing. Look it up. It's a Honoji temple, I think is what it's called. Anyway, the important part is that Samanosuke is the nephew of the guy who gets the credit of killing Nobunaga. So how does this go back to Princess Yuki here? They're cousins. Legitimately, if it's mentioned anywhere in the game that they're cousins, please let me know, because I had to go through digging through some historical records in Wikipedia and I went and looked at actual historical textbooks about some of this to get this shit figured out. It was way more than I needed to do. It was a quick Google away, but I did it anyway. Now, you know how I mentioned there are characters that have no real world counterpart just to sort of get the story moving? Yuki, she's one of them. There's a couple of them in this game, but she's one of them. As I'm sure you heard earlier, this game sure does have voice acting. As it's a Japanese game with English voice acting in the era of the early 2000s, specifically 2001, it is bad. The lip movements don't match up at all. It's almost like there wasn't even an attempt made to make them match up. There's at least a couple of times where they stop talking for more than a second and the lips are still moving. Some of these lines don't have subtitles. That's less egregious, but still annoys me. And nobody can fucking decide how to pronounce Samanosuke's name. There are at least 2 other ways in this game that they mess it up. Anyway, on to the meat of the game. It's got fixed camera angles, tank controls, a lock-on that makes me roll my fucking eyes. It sure does feel like a Resident Evil game. Speaking of Capcom games, this is another franchise that they left to die, not having made a new game since... Oh wait, they just announced a new game, didn't they? I cannot believe my joke is dead on the second video. Anyway, Samanosuke shows up to the Saito clan's keep to find Yuki with his trusty shinobi friend Kaede. I think she's also a character that just doesn't exist or has a real world counterpart. If she does, I couldn't find it. Some sources say that these two are lovers, but I didn't look into it because it's not important at all whatsoever. What is important, she's here to help. That was quick. We found Yuki already. So we just fight these guys and save Princess Yuki. Cool. This game took like 30 minutes. Cool, yeah. This was a different time. Actually, no, that's not what happened. Genma shows up and launches Samanosuke into the wall before taking Yuki away. All he can do is just fall unconscious dramatically. While in Dreamland, he gets a visit from the Oni clan. They give him the power to absorb Genma souls and gain strength from them. The game actually begins here. We proceed toward the keep, jumping down a hole, entering a cool cave. In the cave, we get the best thing ever, free stuff, which includes a new sword. There are 3 weapons in this game. Well, 5, but 3 melee ones. They cover 3 elements: a lightning katana, a fire greatsword, and a wind double sword thing. I don't know what to call it. We also get 2 ranged weapons. There's a bow and a gun. The ranged weapons see very little use in my experience, except for one boss fight where they're super useful, but maybe I just like slapping things with my sword. At its core, this game is melee focused. While Resident Evil cared about guns, this game cares about melee. So the game has 3 modes unlocked from the get-go: easy, normal, and hell. I made the mistake of picking hell mode first, not realizing that everything kills me in one hit. I lasted about 15 minutes of frustration before deciding I would rather do this later, and it wasn't worth doing the recording on hell mode. Now, building onto hell mode and the base game, there's a really fun mechanic called deadly strikes, also called criticals. They actually use them interchangeable in the manuals. Performing one usually instant kills a regular enemy and then makes them drop extra souls. You can either perfectly time a guard and then attack, or just attack as you're about to be hit. You can even chain this and get a whole room with it, just from one guy to the next. It's really cool, it's really satisfying, and I love the sound effect for it. You know, it would actually be really cool if they added a mode where you could only kill enemies by using deadly strikes, and I'm surprised they didn't do it in this one. It just seems like such an obvious thing to do. It would be super fucking cool, and okay, let's get back to the main game. Wandering around the keep, we will see doors have colored fleshy orbs. These orbs correspond to the weapon's elements, and the amount of orbs, the level of the magic. You will be required to level these up, and you might as well ignore leveling the weapons themselves until you have them all capped. I believe leveling it up also increases the magic power. It sure feels like it. This game also has a lot of sealed chests they expect you to come back later and open once you can decipher the language you're using on them, but I have the power of my crappy memory and brute force my way through until I solve them. Did this take me longer than if I just came back later? Absolutely. But there's no way I was going to remember where these chests were. The language, brute forcing, I can absolutely do. Telling me where the hell anything is? No, I'm not going to find it. I cannot tell you how many times I checked the map in this game that I've just cut out here. You'll see a couple times. No, so many times. Oh, hey, we found the guy that took Yuki. And he's dead. Most of the bosses in this game aren't exactly difficult. You could tell they were kind of ironing things out. I don't know if it's just a different kind of difficulty from the time, or if the game was purposefully kind of easy. Although you can beat it in like 3 hours or less. I think there's actually an achievement for beating it in less than 3 hours. Although that's also common on a lot of the Resident Evil games. Anyway, his name was Osric. He's dead now. We go through the wall he crumbles to find a Genma scientist dissecting a human. This is Guildenstern, and he's responsible for most of the Genma you meet for the next 3 games. He gloats that he's also the one responsible for reviving Nobunaga. I told you he was fine. Anyway, he sicks some tentacle boys on us and leaves. Not even the fun kind. We beat them up, and now we have a fire greatsword. This is the second strongest weapon in the game. The only one that is more powerful than this is a secret unlock. But now we have lightning and fire, letting us get farther into the keep, where we meet a man named Tochikiro, wrestling with a small boy. Our arrival distracts him enough the boy gets away, and he introduces himself. The game helpfully tells us that he would later be called Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and he's responsible for actually uniting Japan after Nobunaga's death. He offers Samanosuke a job, but being a Ronin badass, he refuses. He laughs and fucks off. He'll do this a lot. Later on, we see the boy again with Kaede, but Samanosuke only has time to learn his name before he escapes. His name is Yumemaru. Later on, Kaede is going to find out that Yumemaru is Yuki's adopted brother, which explains why he's here, but this is the absolute worst place for a child to be in. And sure enough, as we continue through the keep, we get an example. Yumemaru has been captured, and Tochikiro is back again with another offer. And because this is still a Resident Evil style game, they're going to monologue about what they're supposed to do, what the things are used for, what the people are for, why is Yumemaru here, and we find out here what they actually want with Yuki. They're going to rip off Yuki's head and fill it with her own blood to give to Nobunaga for power to defeat the Saito clan. Shit, okay. After that bombshell, we go find Yumemaru, but the door has green orbs, so we can't open it. We don't have the green weapon yet. So we go up to the roof and we fight another boss. This one we actually learn his name. Most of these bosses, I didn't know their name until the achievement popped up. I didn't know the first guy was named Osric at all. Anyway, this guy's name is Marcellus. He has lore. He has a lot of lore, actually. This is only the second boss. He's not hard. The answer to most of the bosses in this game is just throw magic at them. It's really, really strong, especially if you're leveling them up. After his defeat, we get the Wind Orb, and my second favorite weapon in the game. The magic for this one is a big tornado, which you can use to hit an entire room. It's fucking great. No, right, Yumemaru. I almost forgot about him. I was so busy staring at the swords. We find him and bring him somewhere safe. Safe-ish. There are no Genma here, at least. Samanosuke goes off on a tangent here about how he needs to make sure Yumemaru and Yuki live so they can see the world like he did. And the whole speech kind of feels a bit out of place in this game. Especially at this part of the game. Before he gets too much farther, and making my eyes roll in the back of my head, we're interrupted by a maid who tells us Yuki's being kept underground. How do you know that? Who the hell are you? Who the hell let you in here? Do the doors not lock here? I mean, they're made of paper, but we invented locks by now, right? But now that he knows where to go, Samanosuke is off to save his dear cousin, leaving Kaede to protect Yumemaru. Once more, Tokichiro shows up. Once more, we tell him to fuck off with working for the Oda clan. He finally accepts our refusal, shrugs it off, and activates a device that pulls us into the depths of hell. Meanwhile, Kaede is approached by another Samanosuke. By this point, I had gotten new armor for him, so the imposter was wearing the starter armor. You'd think she would notice that. Oh look, the maid's also in on it. They kidnap Yumemaru again and knock out Kaede. Why do they want this kid? Once she wakes up, we play as Kaede. She's cool. Honestly, the game plays really differently where you don't have to worry about absorbing souls. It's a lot more like a traditional survival horror, but you're a ninja. She's weaker, of course, than Samanosuke because she only has the one dagger. Doesn't have any other ranged weapon. She has kunai. It's still cool. Her deadly strike is a bit different. It involves like flipping over people and then hitting them with it. You know, backstabs.
And it does a lot of damage.
Anyway, several rooms and chests. I find a cool knife and also Yuki. There's a kind of cute moment in this cutscene where a needle trap goes off while she's trying to unlock it, and Yuki immediately tries to help, like wiping up the blood off her cheek. It's cute. It's fine. Kind of to show off that Yuki is, you know, a super kind person. Why would someone want to save her? That kind of thing. Before Kaede can unlock the damn door, Guildenstern shows up and takes Yuki, leaving Kaede to fight a Genma that cloaks itself. Listen, bitch, your cloaking is not good. I can see you just fine. Kaede escapes and we're back to Samanosuke. He wakes up and finds the imposter, who we beat the shit out of. I'm lying. He's the most annoying boss in the game to me because he can block properly. The answer to blocking is fire magic, by the way, but you will never guess what his name is. Go on, take a second. Stylato. I'm stealing that. I like that name. This is a tangent, but Onimusha has a tie-in manga with the same name that kind of goes into more details. One of the details that goes in is how they made Stylato. They took samples of Samanosuke's blood that had already been spilled around the keep earlier to essentially make a clone that is a Genma. He has all of his abilities, well, all of his skills up to this point. He doesn't have the Oni magic. That's not blood thing. You wouldn't think skill would be either, but whatever, Genma magic. We make our way back to the keep and eventually find Yumemaru and the maid again. Oh, except the maid is actually a horrifying bug lady. This is a scene. This whole transformation scene is censored in the English release. You can just look up the uncensored version. I'm not looking it up. I regret doing that. Her name's Hecuba, and she fucks off to the demon realm with Imamaru where we can't follow her. There's a way through, but we have to get a special arrow and a special bow and gotta fire it at a special time at a special angle. It's a bunch of special stuff. There's a whole bunch of special shit we have to do about this stuff. It doesn't really matter though. What does matter is we find Hecuba again. In this encounter, she reveals why they even give a damn about Imamaru. They're gonna kill him in front of Yuki's to max out her sorrow before Nobunaga drinks from her skull to increase the power she gives. Shit, alright. You know, that sounds like a lot like the Carronade from Breath of Fire. Another boss fight. She would be super annoying, but I have the power of guns on my side, so it's pretty easy. There's a short Kaede segment before the boss fight where we find some explosives and blow Hecuba up. I just can't. These games always have giant bugs, and I fucking hate giant bugs. Here, the game gives us an optional detour to a place called the Dark World. It's an optional gauntlet of enemies that gives you items the farther down you go. If you do all 20 levels, you get a thing called a Bishamon Ocarina. This will make the final boss a cakewalk. We fire the fancy arrow we found along the way and break into the demon realm. But wait, Guildenstern's back again with Marcellus. Again? This is probably the hardest fight in the game for me. The first phase is fine, it's just Marcellus with his shield again. Once it breaks, he has a second phase where he uses dual blades, which was actually easier than the shield for me. Don't know why. The next room, we finally use the Ocarina to unlock the most powerful weapon in the game. The Bishamon Blade, which you can use for this next room and the final boss. And that's it. Fucking lame, considering all the work I had to do for it. We get to the throne room and see Yuki and Imamaru strapped to the wall on an upper level. Before we can really do anything about it, the Genma King, Fortinbras, appears. Fortinbras? I forget how they say it. The Bishamon Blade makes his battle so laughably easy, I'm just gonna shut up and let it play out. The room crumbles. Old Snake Boy isn't actually dead and tries to kill Samanosuke, who transforms into a cool form. And why the hell wasn't this a mechanic in the game? That's cool as hell. It would be cool if they would add that as a mechanic or give me a mode where I can just have that on all the time. And that's it. Game's beat. Since I roughly knew where everything was, the game only took me about 3.5 hours to beat. However, it pulls this silly ass narration that shows the fate of the characters. Like in those movies where they say, and then they return to their country. In this case, it shows most of your work was kind of useless. Nobunaga came back after all this work anyway, and he took out the Saito clan. Samanosuke disappears. Kaede never sees him again until she dies. Yuki and Imamaru escape the destruction of the clan and go see the world instead. Kind of a downer ending, but it does show that Samanosuke survives. There's exactly one more unlock in this game. In the game, you can find an item called Fluorite. Until you find a optional item called a Vision Staff, you have no way of knowing where any of the stuff is. There's 20 of them. If you get them all and beat the game, you unlock a minigame. It's called Oni Souls, and I hate it. You break pots, it's half puzzle, half random bullshit. The reward for it, however, is the best thing ever. You unlock Ultimate Mode, which has you start with infinite arrows, bullets, and the Bishamon Blade. The Power Trip Mode. There are a couple other rewards. When you beat the game, you get a rank. The rank is determined by how fast you beat the game, how many enemies you kill. There's probably something else, but I don't know what it was. My rank was a B, which unlocks Samanosuke in a panda costume. And the Oni Gauntlet is a sunflower. That's cute as hell. He has a little panda with him. This comes back in other games. There's one for Kaede too. You need to like S rank the game for it, and yeah, it sure is a costume. But yeah, that's basically it for Onimusha. It's not a long game. It's at least worth a couple of playthroughs. I went through it quickly, but I think if you didn't know where the hell anything was and just were actually playing the game normally for the first time, probably more like a 5 hour game. I enjoy it. I enjoyed quite a bit, and it was fun to play through it again. And now I don't mean to keep playing games that are like super available legally. There's no emulation required. You can just buy the remaster, which is where this footage is from, for like $20 on Steam. There's even physical copies. Just buy it on PS5, PS4, whatever, man. It's a fun game to play. Play it. It's good. Is it my favorite one of the series? Absolutely not. My favorite is Onimusha 3. 2 is pretty close, but I like 3 the most. And now we've reached the part where I have no script and I'm just going to ramble. Yeah, so I was probably a bit ambitious with my first video being 3 hours long. I'm not going to do that shit again. I'm going to stick to some shorter videos for the future and maybe work on a long video every couple of games or so. Next ones I'm working on are Etrian Odyssey 4 and Wild Arms 3. But for the next game, don't know yet. I haven't decided. I guess we've reached the part of the video where I should say like and subscribe, hit the bell for the notification, whatever the fuck they're supposed to tell me to say. I don't care. I say that. I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. Anyway, if you got some games you want me to play, put them down in the comments. I've got a few requests already, including a game that is technically the third in the series, but I've never played the first two. And I'm going to go in with still never playing the first two, just to see how understandable the story is otherwise. Actually, she was unaware that it was the third game in a series, that there were 2 games before it. So I'm stoked to see how that one works. That one's a bit of a longer game, though. I've got a lot of ideas and a whole lot of time on my hands. But yeah, there hasn't been that much time between the Breath of Fire video and this one, so not a whole lot has happened for me. I appreciate every single one of you who has watched the video, even if you click off after 10 or 15 minutes. Hell, even if you click off after 2 minutes. Thank you for watching it at all. The fact that the video even passed 100 views was mind-blowing to me. I appreciate the subs. I hope you keep enjoying what I'm making. I'm going to keep doing it till, I don't know, I run out of ideas, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So until next time, have a good one.